Yeah, so a little bit about what he said. I am from ASMS. I graduated in 2011, so I'll go into a little bit more about me and myself. So I lived in Corning, New York for most of my life. Grew up here, and I went to ASMS. That was me, I think 7th or 8th grade in Philadelphia. Went to that Philadelphia trip. You guys still do those trips?
That's they don't go to Philadelphia anymore. That one ended a while ago, so that would have been 7th grade because 8th grade used to be New York City.
Yeah.
And then this was the first year the 8th grade didn't go to New York City. They went to Pittsburgh instead.
Yes, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, so I am from New York, and I grew up here. I went to high school here. I went to West High School, which is not a thing anymore now. It's Corning High School, and I really loved ASMS. It was definitely one of the schools that I really thrived the best in, and it really boosted my confidence because I just felt like I was smart, and I felt like I had good peers around me who wanted to work hard and do what I wanted to, and do the work that I wanted to do. So during this time in my life, I felt great. This was a really good time for me, and in math, I was going over stuff like arithmetic, like adding, subtracting, and algebra concepts and probability statistics, and I felt great about math. Like, it was one of my favorite subjects, and I felt really confident. I felt like I could get an A on every test. I felt like I could do any problem that came my way, and it was just one of my favorite classes, and I just felt on top of the world. However, in California, I moved 2014. I had a really great time. I went to Sequoia High School in Redwood City, California, and I played tennis, and I did the IB program, if you guys have heard about that. And during this time, I was introduced to calculus concepts, and I went over pre-calculus first, so I took that class my junior year of high school, and I did okay. And I was not used to not getting A's in a math course before, and it didn't sit right with me when I got my first B. It didn't feel good. However, when I got to calculus, I felt terrible. That was the worst that I had ever done in a math course in my entire life. Like, I would see, I would look at the book and I would have no idea what was going on, and I would work through problems and I didn't understand. And it was really frustrating for me because as someone who had done so well in math my entire life, to just do that poorly feels terrible, and it really hurts your self-esteem, and it makes you not want to keep going and keep moving forward in the subject that you really like. So what went wrong? One thing that is really important in your life is balance. In the IB program, you have to do a lot of work. You have three higher level courses which are 2-year, and then you have 3 or 2 classes that are standard level, but they're all at a college level. And it's a lot of work, and it's something that you need to learn how to balance. So you need to balance your work, your school life, and then you guys do sports, extracurriculars, stuff like that. Yeah, you have to keep that in mind too. It's important to do your work, and you have to keep in mind all the stuff that you're doing that you enjoy, and you have to succeed in life. And when you see a math course or any course that you don't understand, it's really important. Even if you don't see yourself doing well, you can't quit, because you still need the work, and you still need the subjects, and it's really important to keep moving forward. So does anyone go home and you know that you have to do your homework, but instead you get on Netflix? Or no, you can't say that. Yes. Right. So that's something that is very detrimental, even though it's very, very fun. And it's something that you might want to do instead. It's better to keep moving forward, and to keep doing your work and staying on top of it. So that's why I didn't do so hot in my math career in pre-calculus and calculus, and it didn't feel good. It didn't make me want to keep doing math, and it was a subject that I had loved my entire life. It was something that I had done well in. Who here likes math? I would hope that everybody would raise their hand. though we really like math and we do well in math, you need to be prepared for that time where you see something and you don't get it for the first time. And even if you don't get it, that doesn't mean that you're not good at it. That doesn't mean that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like it, but it does mean that you do need to work harder and you do need to evaluate yourself and keep working and keep moving forward. So after Sequoia High School, at the end of all of this, even though I didn't do so great and I didn't like math anymore, I didn't want to continue math, at the end of the day, you still have to think about your successes, because at the end of the day, I still graduated and I got my IB diploma. I passed all of my classes and I got the diploma and I got my little sash, if you guys can see that, and I had a good time. And that meant that even though I didn't have a good year, I could still move forward, and there was still more that I could accomplish after that. So even though I didn't really like math anymore, I still went to college. I went to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a historically Black, all-female school, so that's why you see a lot of girls in my picture. So these are my parents on my first day being dropped off at Spelman College, and then that's olive branch ceremony that we have, that we can meet all of the students at Spelman and form connections with our peers. And I've been at Spelman College for I finished 3 years now, so I'm gonna be a senior now at Spelman College. So the first thing that I did when I signed up for Spelman College was take a math assessment exam. And the reason that I had to take the math assessment exam was to see where they would place me in a math class. I thought I was done with math, so the fact that I had to take a math assessment didn't feel great. But I did learn that even though I didn't do so great in a math class in high school, I did exceptionally well on that assessment test, and I was able to pass a lot of math courses that I would have had to take in college. Because even though I didn't sign up as a math major, I still needed math courses. So I was a psychology major when I first came to Spelman College. So even though I did really well on the assessment exam, I still had to take a math course. The first math course that I had to take at Spelman College was applied calculus. And I was not excited to take this class at all, because calculus was the class that I did really poorly in high school, and I really did not want to take this class again. However, when I took the class for the second time, I loved it. It was so fun to me. And the reason that it was fun to me now is because I understood it. And it felt like an art in a way, the way that I was doing the problems, because it was creative the way that I was doing them. And even though I had disliked math for a short period of my life, it was that fire rekindled very, very quickly. So my sophomore year of high school, my sophomore year of college, I ended up switching over to a math degree from a psychology degree, because I had just enjoyed calculus so much in college. So that, even though I had only had one course at Spelman College, that feeling made me want to keep pursuing mathematics at Spelman College. So a little bit about mathematics in college. So some of the courses that you may take for me, for some of the stuff that I took was Calc 1, 2, and 3. I took all of the sequences of calculus. And then I took some classes such as math modeling, foundations of mathematics, abstract algebra, linear algebra, and theory of numbers. So now my overall feeling towards mathematics is interesting, because even though I've taken some courses that I really, really love, I'm still exploring mathematics, because just because you took one course does not necessarily mean that you really have a full understanding of what mathematics is. So some of the courses that are offered at Spelman are, the core courses are intermediate algebra, pre-calculus, calculus 1, calculus 2, and those are all expected to take in your freshman year of college, if you are in the mathematics course. However, depending on where you start, and where you finish high school, you could start in intermediate algebra, or you could start in calculus 2, depending on where you are. So it's really important to take your classes seriously right now, if that's something that you enjoy and want to pursue. And then in sophomore year, you take calculus 3, foundations of mathematics, linear algebra, linear algebra. And then in junior year, you would take abstract algebra 1 and real analysis 1, or you might put some abstract 2 in place of real 1 and stuff like that. So my question to you guys is, do you recognize some, if not all, of the courses on this list? No, yes, no. What are you guys taking algebra right now? Yeah, so you had one little taste of what mathematics is, and just because you've taken a mathematics course now and you might not like it, you might not feel like you're doing well in it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like math. It might mean that you're struggling in a course. It might mean that you need to put a little bit more time in, and it might mean that it might just mean that it's not what interests you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like math. So I wanted to show you guys this next topic, because this is all of the branches of mathematics, kind of simplified, yes. So it's kind of broken up into 2 different categories of pure mathematics and applied mathematics. So some of it is really technical. You just you see numbers and you work with them. And sometimes it's really, really theoretical, and it's symbols and to explain common phenomena in mathematics. So as in K through 12, you are exposed to maybe a few parts of this. A little bit of arithmetic, counting, adding, multiplying, dividing, and subtracting, and then maybe a little bit of algebra. Depending on where you go to school, linear algebra, or maybe some group theory also. And some statistics maybe, and probability. But that's one very small part of the big chain of mathematics. And even as a college student now, I'm only in this section of math. I've done a little bit of things here, done a little bit of here, maybe not here. That would be a cool place to visit. And even still, I'm completely neglecting this side of mathematics because I don't really necessarily get to look into the computer science and then the mathematical chemistry or the statistics and probability so much, or cryptology. And those are the things, parts of mathematics that give you a tangible product.
What's that lower left in the applied? What's that called? I can't see it.
Physics.
Physics, yeah. Okay. Just please continue.
Yes, and then physics also. These are things that you can build, create, and these are the things that people are looking for. And even though this is what companies and professors and what the world is looking for, you still need the pure mathematics to describe the applied mathematics. So all in all, the reason that I wanted to show you guys all of the mathematics that's here is, even though you may not like a course, you may feel like you don't like math, doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like math, because you might need to go explore something else. So one thing that I really want you guys to take away from this is all the things that you can do with mathematics. It's not just numbers on paper. It's more than that, because you can do a lot of great things with it. So one thing that I have been able to do this semester, being a mathematics major, was participate in mathematics research. So this is the project that I worked on this semester. It was a semester-long project that I worked with two professors in my department, and I was able to use so many branches of mathematics to construct a research project. So I was using algebra and linear algebra and calculus and computer programming all to develop a project. This is constructing 3D models with matrices instead of functions. And what you can do with this is you can use it to create really anything, honestly, because this is used a lot in 3D modeling. You could use it to create a cup. That was something that I was trying to do, but didn't really have a lot of time to do this semester, but we'll explore more into it to create images. But you need these building blocks, these shapes, to construct more. So one thing that you can do with mathematics is create things. So as in studying mathematics, it's a little bit different than an experimental process like in science or something like that, but it's similar in the same way because you have something that you're looking at, like a subject that you want to explore, and your experimentation process is different. It's not necessarily things that you're working with your hands, it's a lot of stuff that you're working on computers and in reading it in computers and also in modeling. So even as a mathematics major, it's more than just doing math problems. It's creating tangible things. So even though this is very technical and it's a lot of coding and it seems like it's a lot of math, this can be used to construct so many things that we use in our daily lives. So one thing that I want you guys to take from this project or this presentation is being a mathematics major is more than just studying mathematics. You're learning so many skills that you can take into many other classes and many other aspects of your life. And mathematics is everywhere. It's what you need in physics, it's what you need in chemistry, it's what you need in computer science, it's what you need to create what's around in the world around us. And one thing that I really want you to take from my experience is that you can't cheat yourself. You need to make sure that you're putting in all the work that you can to do to get the best result. And it's really important not to get discouraged. When you see that you maybe didn't get the answer right, or that you didn't get a grade that you wanted to get, it's really important that you keep pursuing what you're passionate about. Because even if this step is, math isn't what you want to do, this is going to be the driving force that gets you into what you want to do in your life. And one thing that mathematics teaches you is to be persistent. If you don't get it something on the first try, you keep working at it because you need to get the problem done. You need to produce a result at the end of the day. And one thing that you need to accept at the end of the day is that you don't know everything and you still have things to learn about.